Welcome to Nick and Jeff, featuring our favorite poker fan, Jake, wherever he is. Today we're talking about Pokemon Legends ZA. It's the spoiler cast. We're going to spoil the entire game. So, take it away, Nick.
Let's do it.
People don't hear us at this part.
Oh god. Well, we're off to a great start. The intro's ruined.
We're just having so much fun. All right, we are going to spoil Pokemon Legends EA. We have some, I think, strong opinions, and we have some strong poker fans here with Jake. Probably the biggest poker fan of all of us. I was going to say Poker Maniac, but I feel like that's offensive. So
Poker Man?
say
I actually like that.
Poker Maniac.
I'm the Poker Man.
Nick, do you have any first initial impressions of the game before it was released? On the spot.
Before it was released, I think everyone's expectations were really high because of how good and how fun Legends Arceus was, right? And I think people wanted to try and get... Oh, now my Zelda clock's going off. Hold on. It's got, what, 8 chimes it's got to go through? Oh, God. Anyway. Yeah, I think people had really high expectations and were expecting it to be just like Legends Arceus and to have the same sort of amount of fun. And it wasn't long into the game. I reckon the first 2 hours, I think, I was like... I wasn't really on board, and then from there it was just kind of downhill for me. But so I have very negative opinions about this game. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys positive or negative towards this game?
What about you?
Look, I'm gonna be making it my mission to not be a complete naysayer during this conversation, just because I've got a lot of things negative that I can say, but I want to probably generalize in saying that it was lacking in a lot of ways, but it wasn't without fun.
Without fun.
Okay.
I think the initial trailer got me on board. I was so pumped. I loved Arceus so much. And yeah. A bit different than my hypes. What about stats? Nick, how much have we all played? Nick, how many hours have you played? How many Pokemons have you caught?
Well, I've played 35 hours. I've caught 166 and seen 215. But I worry that since you knew you were going to do these stats, I remember seeing in your, you said like things in the group chat of being like, oh, how many Pokemon can I evolve at once? So I wonder if you just went through just to expand that Pokedex just a little bit more just before this podcast. But I digress.
I think when I finished the game, I had about 168, and then I did just spend a couple times just evolving all the starters, because you get all the starters from that the middle area and stuff. So I've ended the game on 34 hours, and I've got a Pokedex of 200. Ooh. I went back yesterday just to evolve a Dratini to get the Dragonite, so I could get the Dragonite Mega Pokedex entry. And then I'm satisfied. What about you, Jake?
Well, I'm sitting at 36 hours and 43 minutes. I have 209 caught. I think I was about the same when I finished the story. I don't know. I think I maybe played three or so hours since then. I was sitting at maybe 170, and I went through and did exactly what you did. I evolved the ones that would evolve. I love that mechanic where it just lets you evolve if it's at the right level, which is good. But then I singled out all the ones that still needed to evolve. I'm missing, what is it, about 20 something, and it just felt like a lot of work, so I didn't do it.
Well, there you go. So I think we've all experienced nearly the same amount of game time. Nick's quite funny. You've got the most hours, but the least Pokemon. So
yeah, I blame that on Jake. I cook and stuff when I just leave it on.
I'm surprised, Jake. I thought you'd have more hours than us, because I know how much you love shiny hunting early on as well. So I kind of thought your game time would be ticking a bit up. So we're all kind of the same. That's pretty awesome, actually. I like that.
Well, just on that, I think that shiny hunting in this game is pretty crap, if I'm being honest. Like compared to what it's like in previous games. I mean, take X and Y. I think X and Y is the Pokemon games I've played the most out of any. I think I had over 1,000 hours, most of which was shiny hunting. So the fact that I got about 2 or 3 hours of shiny hunting before I went, I think I'm good, kind of says something.
Wow. Okay. This is a spoiler cast, so let us spoil the story. I kind of want to like summarize the story, but I feel like it's probably pretty dumb. Nick, what is the story
Oh
of
no!
Pokemon Legends ZA? What is the? Tell me what the story is.
You know what I feel like? I feel like just as you were talking, I feel like a kid in high school again, sitting there going like, "I don't know the answer to this question."
What
I
is
really,
the test?
I really hope
Test.
I really hope the teacher doesn't pick me because I don't know the answer. And here we go. Look, there's like a mega outbreak in the city. Someone's causing Pokemon to mega evolve, and it is your job to use the power of friendship and your own megas to stop it happening. That's the best I got. That I skipped through most of the dialogue. I feel like I've seen a few reels online of just in the last 12 months of people adding voice acting onto Legends, like Arceus,
Yeah.
and it's
Arceus, okay, yeah.
and it just seems so much better. Like with the final boss, and he's got what's the not Arceus, the big bad of
It was like Violio or something like that.
Yeah, and
But the maniac guy that looks like Arceus.
Yeah, and they add voice acting to it, and it was way cooler. And especially, there's a lot of sections in this game I think would have really benefited from voice acting, and I probably would have paid a lot more attention to the story. That's my summary is that's all I got. That's all I know. So if you got more, please feel free to build off those foundations.
I think you come to the city as a urbane or townie. I think I was the chick. Then you meet your friends. You get roped into looking after a hotel. The AZ guy's there, and then spoilers, he dies. That was actually pretty cool, actually. They killed him. And then you do stuff in the middle with like a guy that wants to punch walls, but then it skips the punching walls part. There's the cool. Well, I really liked this. I can't even remember his name now. The villain, bad guy, mafia guy. He was cool. And then some chick, some research, Emma with the hot ass, like, and then all your friends get together and you stop Mega Evolution from, I don't know, whatever, from fighting the giant Eiffel Tower. It wasn't even a Pokemon. The end.
Yeah,
Jake, this game is a sequel to X and Y, your favorite game, you said, or the one you played most hours of. It's a sequel set 5 years later. Is the story good? Is it what you wanted?
Look, you know what? Look, good is subjective, I guess.
True.
I have done a little bit of reading on this since, and it is what I do appreciate about what they tried to do. Oh, that's not fair. What they did in this game is that it does feel like a good bookend to what X and Y was, and I think the biggest criticism that a lot of people had of X and Y back in the day was that, well, not only was it quite a small region, but the story felt a bit lacking. They had set up this really cool. I was actually listening to a podcast about it today. This is how nerdy I am. It was talking about how it set up this big story about the 1,000-Year War, and AZ was this old dude who had a floette that died, and blah 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 blah. But there were so many things that just were never explained, like Lysander. He created
the L guy,
the redhead dude who's now a white-haired dude.
Yeah. I thought it was like Lysandria. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Lysandria, whatever his name is.
he looks like Pyro.
He was never explained why I don't think it was ever explained why he set up Team insert name here. Flare. That's right. To suddenly get a hold of this Pokemon that was going to kill everyone or something, and then they kept explaining all these things like, there was this war that happened, but then they'd tell. It was very much like tell, don't show type situation. So this game did a much better job of kind of going, okay, let's wrap up those storylines. Let's give a bit of backstory to Lysander's, motivations and all of that. So look, it was okay. The story was okay.
Have you fought Lysandra at the end?
You did in X and Y. I don't think you did in this one.
No,
he was a good guy, wasn't he?
He was like the final battle before fighting.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. In the last quest. Yes.
In the last quest. Who's the Z guy? Zygarde,
yeah.
Zygarde. You get to fight him before Zygarde, and he does explain a bit of his backstory, which is actually that's pretty cool. Actually, I think it's pretty good.
I feel like that's a good point. I think the whole Zygarde part and the fight at the end, it was really cinematic and really cool, and I think that was something a little bit different for Pokemon, which was kind of nice. It's very flashy.
People said it was good, and my expectations were like they were too high, and I'm just like, oh, cool. You fight some Mega Evolution Pokemon. That's kind of cool. Rogue Ones, and you go see all your friends, and then this friend, and that friend, and that friend. Like, oh, you don't care about any of you, and then you fight the plants. You fight 2 plants while Z-Guard's up in the sky, and I thought you got to control him, but really you just press a button.
True.
And it didn't matter which attack you used. They all just did the same thing.
It seemed cool, but reflecting, I don't think it was as cool, except for when you guard under Z-Guard's big shield.
I just think a lot of it falls really flat with without the voice acting in it. Like, it just adds so much more depth. Even if the story's not that interesting, adding good voice acting into it can make it be a little bit more compelling. Like, take Hades 2, for example. Like, every single line and bit of dialogue in that game has audio to it. And even if I didn't even find it that interesting, it was almost like listening or playing an audiobook, and I just let it play out and listen to the conversations, even if they weren't always that interesting. Whereas in ZA, I just skip. Yep. It just.
What do you think about voice acting, Jake?
I noticed. I mean, we were playing the opening sequence of the game together that first day, and I said it to you then. You know, it's immediately jarring not having voice acting. I thought it was bad in Arceus, and it's even worse here because at least in Arceus, I liked the characters. I couldn't tell you their names, but the blue dude and the red chick, you know, they were cool. Yeah, like they were all cool. Whereas all these characters are so flat and so boring. Like Nick said, you know, you have the tendency just to go a through all the dialogue because it's so. I was going to swear then, so boring, you know, that I feel like if you could hear them talking, it might actually give them a bit of personality and a bit of life. Especially Naveen. If that dude was drowning in a river, I would not save him.
And see, well, I thought Naveen was a chick the whole time, and you're saying it's a he. And
I actually don't know.
Maybe voice acting could have helped there, but either way, it seemed like Naveen, who's the only one I can remember. I can't remember the other ones' names, but like they were kind of depressed, or I don't know, didn't really care along with the group or anything, and then they built some beautiful quilts, and then that's the kind of extent of their personality to me. And there could have been so much more if I could have just heard something from them.
Yeah.
Even if it was in Japanese, if it was in French, if it was in a made-up language, but like even Zelda Ocarina of Time had people having snippets of voices. This had just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
You're just taking me back to Banjo-Kazooie, where the characters are like,
that would have been better. That would have been better. I'm sure they could have made up some French stuff. That would have been like just French snippets, anything. But I think it's just disappointing of Game Freak not even trying in that aspect, which is just really, I don't know. It really sucks.
You've got it on your topic list here, Jeffrey, and I think it was a little bit of a maybe controversial, definitely a big talking point for the game before it launched. Like, regardless of the story, we kicked that to the side. But like, the gameplay of the battle mechanics completely changed for what has been the entirety of, I would say, every mainstream Pokemon game. What did you think of it throughout the whole way you played?
I thought it was totally okay. It's fine. I was expecting to. I don't think I went in wanting to like it. It was just, it's okay. Like, but that's kind of it. I kind of wish super effective attacks kind of like felt even stronger, if that makes sense. Because there's a whole little reading list on the side of like, the amount of times I'd use a poison move against a steel Pokemon, right, with no effect. I kind of wish there was like some sort of impact to those hits to make it feel even better. By the end, I feel like it's just, it's okay. I liked it. I think it could be better, but it's just, it's fine. I got no problems with it. If the next mainline Pokemon game had that battle system, I'd be like, okay, getting your Pokemon to follow you, and you dodging kind of takes a lot of getting used to. I think, Jake, you said at the end that you didn't realize if you unlock on Z target, they follow you better. I wish if you dodge, the Pokemon dodge too, kind of thing, and a bit more oomph. It felt hard to really dodge attacks properly or know what to do, and I kind of ditched like protect and detect early because I'm like, I'm a boy and I want 4 attacks. I don't want the defense up moves. But yeah, it was all right. right, Jake.
Look, on balance, this is probably the part of the game I have the least to complain about.
Mm,
It was the combat was it was pretty fun for the most part. Maybe by the end it got a little bit tiresome. I agree with the general consensus that I see online that it gets a bit button mashy, and that and what you said, it doesn't necessarily feel like there's a lot of strategy to it, which can get annoying, and it's why I prefer the turn-based style. I don't agree with what you said. I will be very upset if Gen 10 has this battle system. I want Gen
mm,
10 to go back to turn-based, but I'm happy for this sort of system to take place again in Legends 3, whatever that is. So keep this as the new battle system on the spin-off series. The only thing I would say would be I think they need to fine-tune it a little bit, maybe just work out some of the kinks, but I don't hate this battle system. It could be pretty fun. Um, but there are, it's not perfect.
I
mm,
really appreciated like some old moves brought new life, like the fire spin, and like, I can't remember what
Mm,
the other ones are, but like things that have permanent on the field area of attacks for like a certain amount of time. That was like really refreshing because before you're like, oh, fire spin does 5 damage per turn or something terrible, and now it's like,
mm,
at least early game, like yeah, this is a cool attack. It stays for like 15 seconds or something.
mm.
mm.
No, I agree.
Nick,
I think those attacks. You're right. They gave them a little bit of a new life, and I definitely used them all for a while at the start. And I also really appreciated the big area of effect attacks, especially when you're in the wild zones and you'd sort of get swarmed by a few Pokemon. And you just be like, oh, heat wave, and just take them all out at
Earthquake.
once. Yeah, and just I thought that was really satisfying. But you're right, it was a little bit tricky and kind of cumbersome to use, especially trying to dodge attacks. And not sure if you played it, Jake, but I kept on having throwbacks in my mind to Astral Chain, which I played on the Switch earlier this year, and in that.
Oh,
And in that, it would lock on to one enemy, and you'd control your character with the left stick, and you control your astral projection monster thing with the right stick, and so you could kind of control both of you at the same time. It wasn't too hard to actually work out, and then doing attacks from there was a little bit more fluid. And so I found, you'd see the enemy as like, oh, the enemy's going to do hyper beam, and you're like, oh, quick, try and dodge. But then, if your Pokemon is sort of attacking in their face, and then you stop targeting, like Jacob said, and they try and get them to follow you. It's like I'd see attacks coming, but still be unable to avoid them, which I found a little bit annoying. And like you said, if I think it would have helped if, say, I were to dodge, if the Pokemon were to dodge at the same time, I think that might have made a bit of a difference. But it was
does
I appreciated
you go
that
on?
for like a side spin-off game that they tried something new. I'm glad they at least tried something new. And even though it might need a few more kinks, I think they could maybe make it a little bit better in the future. I think I'm with Jake. I think with a more mainstream, whatever the next proper mainstream game is, I'd prefer it if they went back to the older system. As much as I've wanted a more fast-paced battling system for years, we kind of got it with this, and it didn't really work out how, at least I imagined it in my brain. I
I
didn't hate
actually
it, didn't
really
love it,
enjoyed
but it was good.
I really enjoyed the nighttime battle mode section, right? I don't think
Mm,
it didn't last forever because it obviously went through the day night cycle, but I actually really enjoyed those battles, and especially with the whole ticket system that incentivized you to, use a super effective attack or use a steal attack or like sneak attack the enemy. Those type of things. Obviously, the sneak attack stuff was pretty shit in the end. Um, but at least that to me was pretty refreshing. If
mm,
they made the whole game like, let's just say, like the Legend Arceus turn-based battles, the game would have nothing special, I think.
mm. No, I agree. Um, if you wanted to move
um,
on to the next topic, wait, unless you want to keep going, Jake.
just really quickly, there was just two things I wanted to comment on there. One was actually something you just said, um, Jeff. Sorry. Um, uh, if I was going to pick two gripes with the battle system,
Mm.
one would be, yeah, the sneaking was just atrocious, and the amount of times I just wanted to snap my switch. Sometimes the amount of times you would sneak up on
You can tear it
a
apart.
trainer, yeah, you'd sneak up on a
Oh
trainer
my
and
gosh,
you'd
yes.
cast
Oh.
an attack. The attack has like moving in the air, and then at the last second, the dude turns around and then they get an advantage. I'm just like, I'm going to kill someone.
Yeah,
Like, so frustrating.
the stealth
And
system wasn't good. Like they spotted you real quick. It was very much like the old games. Like you walk in their line of sight, they're like, Bing.
and the other one was, this is probably a preference more than anything, but I actually really don't like that wild Pokemon have a tendency to attack you rather than attack your Pokemon. I'm just like, especially when you got about 100 Pyroar coming at you at once. Like, I
Yeah,
get
so
that
that section's
but
nuts.
like, what's the point of having a Pokemon if they're only going to attack you 90% of the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
Wasn't it
anyway,
only if
that's
they were
that.
like if you had a Mega Pokemon that attacked that, but otherwise they attack you?
Yeah, it was something like that. They were definitely more attracted to Megas than they were regular Pokemon.
Oh,
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
well, I didn't have it on here, but I guess the Mega Pokemon as boss battles. What did you think of those? Go,
Um,
Jake.
Yeah, go Jake, go.
look, pretty cool. I have no issue with them in general. My problem with them, that's probably a broader issue with the whole game, is that it feels like you're very heavily punished in this game for not using a full team of megas. Because if you use Pokemon that do not Mega Evolve, they're pretty well useless in those battles. They're pretty well useless against Alpha Pokemon unless you use those plus moves, which I just never remembered to
Oh,
use. So not when 99% of the side quests were just do this battle and now you've got a miracle seed, now you've got a this, now you've got a that, all the normal items you'd use for competitive play, they're all useless because the 6 Pokemon you've got have Mega Stones. So
yeah.
but look, the
Nick, what
battles
about the
themselves
battles?
were cool.
Yeah, I agree with Jake. I did like that it went into its own little arena and it felt like more of an event, probably like the biggest event of the game. When they'd have these giant attacks like was it Dragonite that would have all these big whirlwinds that would come out, or
Yeah.
you'd fight any of the water ones and there'd just be all these big tsunamis or just like tidal waves coming at you. I was like, that felt pretty cool. And I think the tactical part of like you withdraw your Pokemon to then try and dodge some of the enemy attacks, and then when
Oh, that's smart. I never thought of that.
then I'd send them back out when the big attack was done, and yeah, I thought that was really cool. I was like, Gengar, it's too dangerous for you. Come back, and then I'll dodge all these, and then send him back out again.
I agreed. I loved it. I think some of the fights just felt like a little bit too long, and I wish they just weren't all one big purple arena. Like, aside from Z-Guard, I think everything was the same, just random purple environment thing. So if they mix that up a little bit, it's cool. But yeah, definitely I was like, oh, I wonder what area of effect attack is going to be this time. Like, that was exciting. Huge step up from the really boring Arceus battles. Well, can't even remember what they were called, but you just dodged the Pokemon and threw sandbags a bunch of times. So it's way better.
Yeah. People raved about that in Arceus, and I always thought that throwing smelly bag things was just dumb.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know.
I'm with you.
Speaking of dumb, the playground, the one environment of this entire game, Lumios City, is that right?
Yeah, I think
have I
that's
read
right.
that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Luminos? That's a Harry Potter spell.
Lumos.
Lumios City. Lumos. Man, Jake, what did you think of Lumios, not Paris City?
It sucks that I'm going first every time because I always have to be the one that leads the negative conversation.
Oh, well,
okay.
I'm happy to go first too if you want.
Okay, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. Look, it's why I can't beat around the bush here. Like, the city is so ugly, and one thing I never see a lot of conversation about online. So maybe I'm the only person who feels this way, but I really hated the scaffolding everywhere.
Oh my god! Yes. I hated
the
it
challenges.
as well. Hated it.
The challenges were interesting enough, but it was so ugly. I'd be like, who is... And I get that it's meant to be like, they're redeveloping the city, but I'm like, all we get is ugly, flat, textured windows and ugly scaffolding. I'm like, can I have something else, please? It's... I'm not going to be saying anything that the internet hasn't already said. The city's too small. It's very ugly. The textures are horrible. Everyone's like, oh, that's so great. There are NPCs everywhere. I'm like, most of them just stand there doing nothing. Like, I don't know. Like, it was probably the worst. Like, whatever the opposite of a high. It's the low light of the game for me. Is that the city in general? The setting was bad.
No,
Nick,
I'm Team Jake.
Me and you have both been to Paris. This game is basically Paris, right?
God no. Paris was such a beautiful city, and like when you go to Expedition 33, you've also been to another version of Paris, and it's so like the start of Expedition 33 is so pretty. And like I've saw all these memes online of like, oh, you heard this new game that's set in Paris? It's like, oh yeah, it's so beautiful. It's getting all these great reviews, 10 out of 10, and then they'd cut to Pokemon and be like, no, that's the wrong one, and it's just Jake. I mean, Jake is such a negative Nelly. He's just, but no, absolutely hits that nail right on the head. Like people, so thinking back again, and again, I'm just going to keep comparing it to Legends Arceus because I love that so much more. But Arceus got so much shit on it because
that had some ugly textures too.
Yeah, it got so much shit on it because of just how poorly it ran. I guess you'd look at something in the distance like Gyarados flying around that landscape, and he's moving at 10 frames a second, 5 frames a second, and the ugly textures and stuff. But it felt like a proper environment. Like you go to the volcano area, you go to the poison area, you go to the wild grass area. Whereas just like Jake said, it's just these bland, boring buildings with boring, ugly scaffolding, and the wild areas had one had a little bit of a river or a stream in it, and that was. It might be maybe a river or stream, or maybe was there a waterfall in one? Maybe it's just so ugly.
Was there a water? I don't think there was. There a waterfall?
I don't remember a waterfall.
Oh, I don't know. But
maybe it was like a cover of a sewer or something.
But I think that was a big letdown for me as well. It's just how flat and how much personality this game doesn't have in the environments, and I think it's just trying to survive off the fact that it is just Pokemon alone. Like any other game, if it wasn't Pokemon, we wouldn't tolerate this shit. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't cop this at all. But because it's Pokemon, we just swallow it down like morons. So I think the environments themselves, even the wild areas, as they slowly kept appearing, it's not great. I'm not sure if you want to get into it now, but I still enjoy the mechanic of when you're in the wild zone, just running around, oh, there's a Magikarp, and I'll catch that Magikarp, and you get a Pokeball, and you get a Pokeball. And like, I think that's just catching Pokemon all over the place, right and center is still, I think that's still fun, and that's probably the most fun part I had of the game, is just going to the wild areas and just catching Pokemon. I found that enjoyable, but the ugliness of it all really would pull me away. So where do you sit, Jeff? Where do you sit?
I think it is the worst Pokemon town to ever exist.
Yes.
I love the scaffolding. Jumping in scaffolding is not Pokemon.
Wrong.
Right?
Wrong.
It's not Pokemon whatsoever. Yeah. And it is I didn't like I've been Paris, right? I didn't like it. I hated it.
I love Paris.
I thought it was boring.
You're wrong.
But there's so many different ways to represent a city. It doesn't have to be Paris. There could be like a graveyard area, right? And there probably was.
There was. That's where you catch
There was. It was Wild Zone 3 or 4 or something.
There could be a whole area with graffiti. There was an area at the very start of the game where there's like a big neon sign or whatever. I can't even remember finding that again after the start of the game. But there could be like a Times Square equivalent, like a big shopping, with big signs everywhere. There could be just anything, and everything is just so the same. I found something at the end. It's like, go to section 6, and I didn't even know the map was divided into sections. Right? It was just, I just can't believe how boring it was. I don't even care about the flat textures. Right? They could have just done some flat graffiti, something else. It just felt such a waste, and every area, every quadrant, just felt the same. I got excited because I haven't been here because I can't find the purple beam of light for the colorful screw. That's the only way I knew I hadn't been to a new area.
I want to take it back to use Naughty Dog as an example, and obviously Naughty Dog is, I feel like, a very unfair example because of how great they are at making games. But when you look at, say, Uncharted 2, which came out on, was it the PS3?
PS3. My heart.
But or even Uncharted 3, Uncharted 4, where you go into these suburban areas, and with Last of Us as well, and so it's not just the jungle areas, but when you go into the suburban areas, I feel like every building, every door, every house, every park bench, every car, everything's been meticulously placed in different spots for a reason, to tell, to be part of the story or to be part of some gameplay mechanic or whatever. But everything here is just like Okay, cool. We got buildings. Cool. Just change the colors a little bit, and then copy paste, copy paste, paste,
There
and
could
it's
have been
just
there could have been an area of the town where, hey, this area's covered in flowers. Everyone's got pots on their verandas.
yeah,
There's
like
little streamer flags between the buildings. Like, it could have been so much more. Even on the rooftops, it could have been something
oh my
different colored
god,
rooftops of the
yeah,
sections. I just feel like I'm really disappointed.
yeah,
Can I just add? I'll just add one more thing.
yeah,
It
of
wasn't
course.
really one of your topics, but it's an extension of that. Is that probably the biggest letdown for me before the game had even released? And this is what maybe even put me into a negative frame of mind about it before I'd even played it. Was when I saw that the art style was very similar to Scarlet and Violet, rather than
Mm,
sticking with what they'd set up for Arceus. I
mm,
thought
Cell shaded
Arceus was actually,
style.
yeah, I thought it was quite a pretty game. Obviously it wasn't perfect, but I really enjoyed that art style. And then as soon as I saw that they'd basically took the center city from Scarlet and Violet, that same art style, and then just turned it into this bigger. I was just like, nah, not for
And
me.
and they missed all
Um,
like the cool textures on the Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet as well. They're all a bit more flattened.
yeah, flats. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I skipped over the catching Pokemon, Nick, and you kind of mentioned it. Again, I'm super disappointed. I loved catching Pokemon in Arceus. The backstrike, sneaking around the Pokemon, like, just
mm.
felt so good. Even throwing the stupid berries like Pokemon Snap, like, it still felt good. And this had just like, hey, here's a tiny little wild zone. You want to catch the Pokemon? Go for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's just
And
I
the
don't have
the
anything good to
heavy balls
say.
and the fly balls.
Yeah, yes. This is like, well, you have all these extra balls, but it's too much effort to think about the timer ball or the heavy ball, the nest ball, or
Mm.
whatever the water one net ball. Like, I just use the ultra
Mm.
balls the whole time because there's just like no incentive to really just clear the wild zone. There's 6 Pokemon in here. Maybe come back at night time to find the one alternative version, and that's it.
Do you know the only time
Yeah, you're
you
right.
don't use an ultra ball is when you throw a ball and realize at the last second that the menu has changed and you've accidentally thrown a ball you didn't mean to throw.
Yep, yep. What do you think of
I'm like, I
catching,
guess I
Jake?
guess you're in a Premiere Ball now. Like, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
You're the closest to the
Look,
catching them all.
I'm probably a cross between the both of you here. I agree with what Nick said before. I think the catching is still fun. I love going into the wild zones and just being like, yes, bam, 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 bam. But I do think that you're right, Jeff, that the stripped
Yeah,
back version of it's a bit disappointing is probably the right word. If they'd
yeah,
kept that, I mean, and that's the problem with this game, isn't it? Like Arceus was very like, you catch them all. This one is like battle them all and then more and then
Yeah.
more and then more and then more. And I'm like, ugh, I'm not battle anybody anymore.
no, you're right. Yeah, I think
Right.
I said, yeah, it's fun to just throw balls left, right, and center. I think Jeff absolutely hit the nail on the head with how it is a sort of washed out version of Arceus as well. And you're absolutely right, Jake. I feel like you both hit the nail on the head. You're all right.
I think what comparing it to Arceus, like, at least you go to a different section of the map in Arceus, like, oh, I've discovered the Growlithe or whatever. Like, I've discovered this thing,
Mm.
and like it's only in this one spot that this Pokemon is. Whereas because everything was generally concentrated to the wild zones, like, all right, I can see everything in this one little spot, and I know what to catch.
And I think
Um,
it felt like you were a little bit more in an actual Pokemon world and a Pokemon environment. Like
yeah,
when you wandered to the volcano, you go to the volcano and like, oh, there's magma around. Like that's in his natural habitat. There's Arcanine and Growlithe in the natural. You go to the swamp section and there's like the Toxicroak and all
well,
the, you know,
they just added one random snow section, right? But they
yeah,
could have like, oh, this area of the map is famous for ice skating.
just
And maybe that could have been more of a motive, like, oh, why there's more ice Pokemon around here,
hmm.
other than just like
What
halfway through
they
the game. Oh yeah, Zone 16's got ice.
they very nearly touched on this though. They didn't do it well, but they tried. When you'd find wild Pokemon in the city itself, that it would sometimes be really cool and sometimes be really bad. So
Hmm.
I would love when you'd walk into a back alley and there'd be a Garbodor with all its trubbish children next to
Yeah,
a rubbish bin. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
that's cool.
Or you'd be walking down the street and you'd see a was going to say a flavor monkey,
The
elemental
yeah,
monkey up in the
elemental
tree.
monkeys, yeah.
I was like really cool. But then there would just be a Dratini sitting on a roof, and I'm like, you don't belong here. Like,
One of these things is not like
Dratini was
the
like one of
other.
the last Pokemon I caught. I had to look on the Pokedex, and it likes living on roofs.
Is that really what it says?
sure it does.
That's what like the habitat said. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Lives on roofs, somewhere.
Dratini's natural habitat is roofs. Yeah, that's where it belongs. God.
No, not despite like
I
that
did-
big the river that goes between the map and there's like the waterfall. Like that could have been where Dratini lives. You couldn't go in the water in this game, really, could you?
Yeah, no.
I don't think you could.
No, you couldn't.
No. There's no water swimming. No, nothing.
Do you guys
Jake,
remember? Did you ever run across the Eevee on a rooftop, and when you approach it, it would just yeet itself off the building and start like running away?
It's just like give me a grappling hook, damn it! Like I don't want to find your stupid elevators or your stupid ladders. Just let me
Yes.
Batman hook shot up onto these damn roofs. God, that would drive me insane.
Jake, the city is filled with side quests. I think I'm guessing you probably did more than me. I don't know how many I've done. I don't think I did that many. Are the side quests any good?
Was this for me? Once again, I get to be the naysayer. There were a couple of good ones. I liked the one where you got the Froakie and the Chespin and the Fennekin. But when 90% of the side quests are, oh, I'm going to battle you, and then you get an item at the end which you didn't need because you're not going to use it, or worse, when they're like fetch quests. Oh, show me this Pokemon. Okay, I've already got it. Great. At least it was quick. Look, I would say 95% of them were. My subjective opinion is that they were bad, but there were a couple of okay ones.
Oh, I don't think there were any okay ones. I mean, I did about 50 side quests. I want to say I did heaps. Maybe that's why my time's a little bit higher as well. But like when they like as they popped up and another, you'd start with like what 3 or 4 wild sections, and then as they would pop up, I'd keep doing them up until probably I got to rank D. I want to say, and then I just was like, I'm done. They just you'd finish a quest and then another 15 and pop up, and just like Jake said, they're all like, oh, have you got a Squirtle? I want to see what a Squirtle looks like. And then like, oh no, and I'm like, yeah, I've got a Squirtle. Oh, he's in my box? Okay, cool. So let me just open up, move him into my party, and then, or like, oh, I want to battle you with only flying Pokemon. Like, all right, hold on, let me, fuck, all right.
I remember that one.
And
that was a cool, I appreciate that as a cool throwback. It was just a one, well, it could have been more than one, but I did it once.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, they were very shallow side quests, which again, as I think that's been a lacking point for me in Pokemon games for a very long time, because I feel like you watch the show, and as we grew up all watching the show, Ash's objective is to take on the gym leaders and go fight the Elite Four, become the best there ever was. But every single episode was its own sort of side quest dedicated to its own, to show different Pokemon. And like sometimes they're different, Charmander in the rain, and you got Paris who can't fight, and he's like gets hit by a little stick, and he gives up. Just like every episode was dedicated and told a story and some sort of struggle about individual Pokemon. And I think adding voice acting and adding actual deep characters, they could really do something. They could really do something special with put 10 side quests in the game, but make them matter. Don't put 100 in the game and just make them all as wide as an ocean but as shallow as a pool or just a puddle. Like it's not good, and I think it's very disappointing after all these years, because they've had millions of fans give so many different feedbacks, and Pokemon just says it has so much heart to it in so many different ways, and I feel like they just shit on it, and there's so many and in the games they just crap on it so often.
I definitely think like this is the most anime like Pokemon game ever by far. I think a lot of the side quests felt like tutorials, like, hey, well, my Pokemon use light screen reflects.
Yep.
Can you beat me?
Yeah, absolutely.
There was one where it's like, is Aurorus, and who's the Tyrannosaurus Rex version? Oh, I can't remember what that
Tyrunt and Tyrantrum.
Yes.
Yeah, Tyrantrum. And it was like, I want you to fight, beat Aurorus and beat my Tyrantrum. I'm like, oh yeah, I love Aurorus. That's like one of my favorite Pokemon. Yeah, I'm gonna smash you. And like, better level up my Aurorus to like evolve. Oh, what Amurus, whatever the baby one's called. And then like he's like level 50 and I'm level 30. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do the side quest. He's gonna smash me because you can only use that. Yeah, they're just very tutorial-ish, so forgettable outside of a Froakie one. It's probably kind of it.
With the scaffolding one.
Didn't get to do the Fennekin one or the Chespin one.
Oh, bloody. I really liked what you suggested there, Nick. How you can. I feel like I'm drawing a blank, but I feel like they've done this before, where you could have a lot of personality. Why not have something simple like, someone's like, oh, there's a disturbance in the graveyard, and there's a Pokemon that's not normally there, and you go in and then you see, and then for this particular side mission, something that doesn't normally appear in the Wild Zone appears there, or it's terrorizing the other Pokemon. Give it a little bit of personality, or a character's just like, oh, something's going on. I feel like they did that a couple of times. Like there was one side quest that comes to mind was they tried to be a bit interesting with it, where he's like, oh, I want to shop it because I want to. I can't remember what his rationale was. I want to be able to read people's emotions before they do bad things. And it turns out that his wife hated him because he was too obsessed with Pokemon. That was interesting. I felt like it gave a bit of personality to that NPC that otherwise would have just been like, show me a Ghastly, whatever.
As a great example, I think would be people.
There was a husband and wife one for sure. They were fighting about something.
People still talk to this day about the Cubone and Lavender Town and that whole story arc there, and just it's. I mean, it's not a side quest, but it's part of the main quest in the original Pokemon games. But people still talk about it to this day, and it's very lacking that they just don't have anything like that in any of these recent games, and it's a bit sad.
Jake, you talked about that area with for the female and the male Pyroar. That could have been a really cool side quest where you get totally fucked up by all the Pyroar and you need to catch the alpha male one or something like that. Maybe there was a side quest for it, but
there wasn't. But there was a similar one. It was you had to go in and find Skarmory feathers, and so once you trigger the quest, you go into the area and there's a bunch of red dots appear, and then it's only after you've touched 7 of the red dots that you find, because everything before that is like, oh, you've got a Litleo hair, oh, you've got a pile of crap, and then you finally find the Skarmory feather after 500 attempts. But at that point, you've been attacked by 700 Pyroar. That area was funny, actually. I died so quickly when I first walked in there.
Well, we got, this far in the Pokemon Legends EA Spoilercast, and we haven't really talked about all the new Mega Pokemon. Nick, you can go first.
Oh, no.
Do you have any new favorite Mega Pokemon? Did they stick the landing with them all? Is there some that you think, what a waste? Or how awesome?
There's a lot of... I look at so many of them, and it's just... Because you see designs of Pokemon online all the time with fan art or just people creating ones for Australia, and they could do so much better. And it's just, some of it's just become a joke. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure these guys are just doing it to me on purpose. Surely this, I can't imagine someone in the art room in a big boardroom being like, all right, we need to think of an idea for Starmie. All right, I got this. Just pull out these legs and then, what do you think? Everyone's like, yes, you get a raise. Promotion for you, sir. I just... And I don't...
love Starmie.
I don't know, does this actually happen? And Dragonite, I'm looking at the Raichu ones.
He's growing on me a little bit.
Well, I hated Dragonite at first, but then I see some of these other ones, and I'm just like, what were they? I really like Halucha. Little wrestling bird.
He's just wearing a bigger mask.
I thought he was pretty cool.
Cool, though.
I thought what's Tepig's evolution, the final evolution with his bow stuff. Embor. I thought he looked cool. Greninja was pretty cool, but there were a lot of them. I'm just like, that's just lame. Skarmory. I think Skarmory just looks like a shiny version of Skarmory, or what a shiny version would look like. But Raichu as well. Let's give him. He's got one tail. Give him 2 tails and make them legs or whatever. I feel like I'm the wrong person asking, because I feel like Victory Bell, turn him into a ball sack. Genius, promotion for you, sir. Just oh man, you've set me off. You ruined my night. Just looking at them, I do not like it. But I need to pass to one of you, Jeffrey. What do you think of these damn megas?
I think they're all fun. My whole team was megas. There was no other way to play.
That's what Jake said, yeah.
I had the Mega Barnacle thing, It is so dumb, so ugly. I hate this thing. It kept it on my party the entire time. I don't know why. Like Mega Chandelure, like it looks way cooler.
Yeah, actually, Chandelier looks cool.
She looks mad. And then who's the drill bear, drill one, drill man, or whatever it is, armadillo drill thing.
Yeah.
Like it's so ridiculous and so oversized. I can't help but laugh, and I feel like the animations are actually pretty well done. There's none that I've like really hated. I feel like Clefable getting wings and having a little muffin beret top thing. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, yeah, but it's still a fairy.
So didn't
I
Clefable always
would've
had
liked
wings, didn't it?
No, not well. They didn't fly.
Well,
But now it's a part flying type. I think I wish there was more type changes. If that makes sense.
yeah.
Like Embor's, he was always firefighting, but I guess there's couple of them have changed. But
Dragonite stayed the same.
Dragonite's still flying dragon. I don't. Victory Bell's still grass poison. I don't know. I like them. I wish there was more. Like I don't feel like there's quite enough. I guess in a new Pokemon game you get 100 to 150 Pokemon. How many new Megas did we get? 30?
It's nearly 30 of them. I think that's a fair bit, really. I mean, Hazui only had, I think it was like a 10 new Pokemon in it.
I mean,
so...
there's probably going to be an extra, 20, but I got to pay $45 for it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
What do you think, Jake?
Who's
your favorite?
We might have finally found a topic that I can say something nice about. Yes. No. Funnily enough, the ones I love the most are the ones they put a bit of love into before the game had released. Like how they did the little videos for Mega Victory Bell, for Hawlucha, and I think there was a third one.
The psychic jellyfish guy.
Whirly, upside downy.
That was probably one of the coolest marketing weeks ever, I think, in Pokemon.
No.
Whirly upside down.
What's his name?
But no, you know what I'm talking about. Well, Nick doesn't, but those three videos.
That was the best marketing they've ever done. The whole week.
Those videos were so good. And I just thought they were amazing. And as a result, I love all three of those. You know, like I think if you'd showed me, as Nick said, the ball sack that is Mega Victory Bell without any context, I would have been like, what? But they gave it so much personality in that video and then followed it up showing it like bouncing around. Like they animated it so well that it became my favorite Mega Evolution in this generation just because it's so funny.
It was fun to bounce because it moved differently than all the other Pokemon. I always had him. He was on my team.
But what I've come to realize is I think the uglier they are, the more I like them.
Oh my god.
What I've realized is it's the ones where it feels like they haven't put any effort in at all are the ones I don't like. Like, and you said Mega Skarmory, and I agree. It doesn't look different enough that I'm like, this doesn't feel like a different Pokemon. Whereas, well, the Victory Belt looks very different, but
I wish
something
they didn't
like
make Mega Skarmory always flying animation. Like, show me the chicken on the ground. Like, that's what I wanted to see with those kick-ass claws. I'm sick of it flying.
Yeah, make it a
ground, I really like
ground
I'm
steel.
trying to think of its name. What's the whirly guy's name again? He looks like an octopus with a brain on its head.
It's gonna kill me.
It's you have to turn your 3DS upside down to evolve it.
Is it in the picture? It's not in the picture. It's not a new. It's an old one.
It's the first one.
It's the top left-hand corner. It looks kind of like Mega Brain.
Oh yeah, I know.
Inkay, Malamar.
Malamar, that's it. Yes, you know, I think Malamar looks amazing. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, so cool.
Drampa looks really cool. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the picture now. Okay, if I had to pick one, I think my least favorite. It's actually you're going to think it's Starmie, but it's not. My least favorite is Feraligatr. I think the design is just hideous. It's so bad. Yeah,
it's funny how how divided everyone is. Yeah.
And I only hate it so much because Gen 2 is my favorite gen, and Feraligatr is my favorite starter from that generation, and they have like shot him in the face. He's dead, and
so,
he's never
of the
coming
three
back.
starters, who's the best?
Embor.
Like strategically or looking?
Looking.
Embor.
Yeah.
Embor. He's a Polynesian war chief, Hawaiian war chief. He's
cool.
badass.
Yeah.
I mean, Meganium just got like a few extra layers of flowers. That feels a bit
Hey,
It
I'm
slippery.
even
looks
scarier than
uncomfortable. It looks like it has a
before.
growth disease or something that needs it needs surgery to get that shit removed. Like, it just looks awful. But you know what? I feel like this definitely opens up my eyes a little bit because I remember reading as they come out. There was a lot of discussion in our private chat between us all of like, oh, I don't really like this, or I do like this, or I don't like that. They all look ridiculous. And so it sounds like you guys have come around on a few of them since playing the game. And I guess you know you're right. Game Freak's probably just sitting there going, "There's millions upon like billions of Pokemon fans out there probably, and we can't make even half of them happy. So let's just do whatever the hell we want and just be ridiculous. And like Starmie with its stupid legs. Oh my god, ugh. Just running around and
No, but I feel
But
like
you
they
know
could've done
what?
more.
no, I hated it so much. And because I hate it, you guys love it. I just know it. It's Expedition 33 all over again.
No. No, the only reason I hated Starmie when I first saw it too, I was abhorred. But the more that people trash talked it, the more I started to like
See,
it.
exactly. You guys both suck.
And they didn't release Mega Starmie before in any trailers, right? It just got leaked.
No, it just got it got leaked a week before where somebody showed the like nearly end game battle of battling him, and it just he goes Mega Starmie, and he's like, and then he starts like running around.
The only I think I like the memes of this game more than I like the game itself. Like with Patrick from SpongeBob being the Starmie, or just like what it's like living in Lumio City, where it's just it had like Aunt May
The
saying
crystals
there.
on the wall.
Like Aunt May being like, "Oh, give us our daily bread," and like to give those a trespass, and then like Dragonite's outside, or Charizard's outside using Fire Blast, and explodes into Aunt May, or people just minding their own business, and then someone's like, "Gyarados, Hydro Pump," and then it cuts to a real person just sitting in their house with the ceiling bursts in and with water.
What a
Totally off topic, but it reminds me of when Gen 8 Galar came out, and you know how they had in the gym battles, it'd be like, whoa,
the Mega Stadium one.
whoa, and there are all these memes of people like trying to sleep in their houses, like nearby the gym stadium.
It's like an earthquake with all the music going on.
That's brilliant.
All right. I think we've probably
brilliant.
talked about Legends Arceus a little bit and compared it. The more recent game is actually Scarlet and Violet. Do you think that they have learnt any lessons from Scarlet and Violet, or this is kind of built in their own several separate worlds? I feel like they're pretty different games, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Both very different games, and I think with Pokemon we've talked about this a million times of how sometimes it's 3 steps forward, 4 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps. They just there's some good things they did, and they started to go in the right direction, and then they fall on their face. And it's a better. You're right. It's a very different game to Scarlet and Violet, and I do miss my doggo. I do miss running around on. What's his name? Oh God,
Miraidon.
Miraidon. I do miss running around on them, and even again going back to Arceus with how each time you'd beat one of the bosses, you'd be able to ride your steed, or then climb a mountain, or like have the one that lets you fly. And whereas this was just like, no, you just here's another elevator.
Download an
You
app
walk.
on your Rotom
You
phone.
will walk.
Yeah, here's another elevator on this building somewhere. Good luck finding it. You just So different games.
Lumios desperately needed the rollerblades from X and Y.
Yes,
That would've been a nice upgrade. Imagine rollerblading off the scaffolding to get like extra height or something. Oh, that would have been way more fun across the roofs.
Or just a jump button. Like, God.
Yeah, and the floating jump thing is so awkward.
It's awful.
It is so awkward. Who thought that was a good mechanic?
Someone.
The amount of times you'd be falling and you'd press the A button like a little bit late or it wouldn't register, and then you'd fly up and you'd just miss the ledge, and you're like, now I've got to walk 70,000 miles back to the Hollow Vader on the other side of the building.
Don't worry, Jake.
know
There's
what they
some people
could've
out there that
done?
love
There's
it. Jeffrey loves the scaffolding. Scaffolding's a bit 10 out of 10. Best game ever.
I love the scaffolding, but it was so like that's the worst bit. That was the best bit, so that's the they could have used Floette, right, instead of Rotom phone. Like imagine
It's a great idea.
Float out so you can float down maybe, or jump to float between buildings a bit further, or even doing the same Rotom jump phone. But that with your Floette, and then maybe at the end, you get the Mega Floette so you can flow up to the top of the Eiffel Tower or whatever. Like that would have been cooler, like having a permanent sort of Pokemon companion thing.
Like 10 years
Or
ago.
even if AZ gave you your Floette,
Like,
that would have been cool.
10 years ago with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, I could ride Arcanine. I could ride a Snorlax. No more riding Pokemon. It's like, again, another step forward, and then we get a new Pokemon game. It's 2 steps back again. Just,
I need to derail this conversation.
Yes.
You've just reminded me of something else that I really hated about this game, and it's the
We're all about the hate.
illusion,
Yes.
the illusion of choice and the nonsensical decisions that the story often made.
Oh, yeah.
And you reminded me of this because you said you were talking about Floette, and the end of the game, the whole build-up is, only the strongest Mega Evolution user can use Floette, and the whole game, all the other characters are like, we're all pretty, like, I think at one point Naveen even is like, we're all a bit crap, aren't we? Do you even get any benefit from us? And the answers are like, yes or definitely. And I'm like, okay, so I clearly didn't get to choose no there. But then you get to the end of the game and you beat, I think her name's Tawny. You beat Tawny and you're like, yeah. And I get to be the best Mega Evolution user, but she's like, no, I'm going to use Floette, even though it doesn't make any sense. Even though it goes against what we've been telling you the entire game about it needing to be the strongest Mega Evolution user, which she clearly isn't. And then everything goes to hell because, I'm assuming that was the point. She takes the Floette up to the top of the crazy Eiffel Tower Pokemon monster thing, and then everything goes bad because she was never supposed to do it. Like the whole game is just Tawny made another bad decision is basically the summary of the plot of this game.
I can't believe Urbane turned Tawny. Like, oh yeah, I just borrowed $100,000 from the mafia.
Yeah.
Oops. Just oops. I thought that was a good decision. Oh man, yeah. I feel like because mine was the male character, I felt like even more like he's a doofus. He's a total doofus. But I guess she's a total doofus from your game.
Mm-hmm.
We're the same character, so
yeah. I mean, I don't think they would have had an ounce of dialogue different.
But even at the end, you finish the game. Sorry, I was cutting you off there. You finish the game, and the lady, the head of the organization, who played actually no role in the story at all.
She was like the black pink chick.
No. She's like the president, the head of the city.
The quartz company or something, yeah.
Yeah, so, she comes back in after having no bearing on the story whatsoever, and she's like, I'm going to give you a present for all of your hard work. She's like, what would you like? And
what do you wish for?
Yeah, lap dance, no. But no, there was three choices, and I knew exactly which one it was going to force me to pick. I was like, it's going to be the Infinite Battles. I picked the other two, and every time you pick the wrong choice, it's like, haha, you can't have that one, pick again. Haha, you can't have that one, pick again. I'm like, then just give me no choices. If I don't have a choice, don't give me a choice.
Man. Yeah. One thing anyway, we sort of touched on a lot of the things in your topic list, Jeff, and I'd say I know a lot of the conversation has been very negative, but on the off chance that
it has,
we hit the lottery and
it's fun to pick on stuff though. It feels good.
And Game Freak comes and listens to this podcast. One thing I really wanted to touch on was just like the first 2 or 3 hours of the game, even just the first 2 hours of just.
Oh my god!
It was so painful, and I can't imagine there would be anyone out there that would enjoy it. The amount of times that you'd talk to someone in the room and be like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, we've got this objective. Well, I'll show you what the nighttime battle zone is like. Meet me outside. And then the conversation's finished and your objective is to go outside. And you walk outside and she's standing there and you, all right, cool, walk 5 meters. And then another conversation starts. She's like, all right, I'm going to take you to the battle zone. And then that conversation ends and then she runs around the corner, literally like 5-10 meters up the road. And he's like, okay, so this is the battle zone. We got to go in here. It's like, just let me fucking play the game.
How many times did you wander off?
Oh, I tried. It doesn't let you. It doesn't let you wander off.
You can't go that way. You've got to go over here.
Like Oak's voice rings in your head. You can't go that way now.
I think if we weren't together, the starting would have been even more unbearable.
Oh, I was starting to fall asleep.
Because at least we could laugh about it.
Yeah. But it was like, what did you guys think of the start? I need to hear, for my own validation and vindication, I need to hear you guys complain about the start as well.
I'll be negative first, Jake. It was terrible.
Yeah, do it.
It was a terrible start. The lack of voice acting made things even worse. And then when they had that fully CGI, not CGI, motion captured cutscene, it was just even more jarring. And then from there, it was just more talking. It was so bad. And you're right, Nick. It wasn't like 30 minutes of tutorial. It was like 2 hours. I felt like really, surely it was 2 hours, right? It was a long time before you could be set off free to do stuff. And I know Pokemon is designed for every age, but more and more games just like, oh, you just play and they're like, do you want the tutorial? It's over here. Or even in old Pokemon games, there was like a school, right? Or like a library or something. Like, you want to read about status symbols, status effects? Go to the school, read the books. Or they could have done, well, there's a lot of them, but a lot of the side quests have, I'm gonna kill you with poison, or burn. At least that's a way to teach someone how to play as well in a more fun way. Yeah, it just so slow, so boring. Could be much better.
Same page, Jake?
Legends Arceus was pretty bad as well.
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, I could be remembering wrong, but I think it was Gen 6 where this started. X and Y had it wasn't nearly as offensive as this one was, but they had quite a long opening sequence with a lot of talking because Gen 6 had
5 friends.
Yeah, you had so many friends, and they all had something to say. And I remember it being a huge issue because people were trying to shiny hunt their starters, and to restart was like 20 minutes of annoying dialogue. That's probably exaggerating, but it felt like a really long time of dialogue at the start of that. Gen 7 was just so much worse. The on rails part at the start of Sun and Moon was atrociously bad.
That's right.
Gen 8, it wasn't much better. Gen 9, it wasn't much better. And now this one is the worst of all. It's like this has been a problem for so many years. People have been complaining about this for so many years, and Game Freak just does not seem to care.
Oh, God.
Not one bit. I'm very curious what Game Freak will do with their brand new, action sword Japan game thing. Like, will they treat it like Pokemon, or will it be amazing? I have so little faith in them. I want to be.
Didn't they try to make another game recently that really flopped?
There's like some brand new like PS5 style, Nia style trailer. I don't know what's the Japanese games.
So it looks more Souls like, or like Wukong.
Souls like,
just like you're a samurai going around killing.
Game.
Like you're a samurai going and taking out big monsters type of thing. Maybe like Monster Hunter, maybe not quite as Monster Hunter, but.
And then what was that other shit game they had? That Town or something? Like,
that? I remember it getting really badly review bombed as well. Well, whether or not the reviews may have been fair, I didn't play it. I don't know. But that was the only other game I remember Game Freak ever making, and it got bad reviews. So I'm like,
they made some elephant Tembo the elephant or something, but I never played it either.
Tembo the elephant. But no, I do have a lot of doubt in Game Freak's ability to actually make good quality games. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, no, you're right. Are there any comments we have missed it?
Quality.
Let's have a look.
Is there enough quality? Do you want to buy the DLC? You know what it is now? It's some sort of rogue-like white version of Lumiose with more Mega Pokemon.
I have no interest in buying any more DLC or anything. I almost wish I didn't even buy this. I was looking forward to it so much, and it's been so bad. So the idea of putting myself through, I couldn't wait to finish it. I could not wait to I just wanted the wild zones to be completed, finish my way through the story, and I'm done. I even if you told me, Nick, go back and evolve some Pokemon so your Pokedex is higher to beat Jeffrey, I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that.
Imagine if the DLC was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the northern mountain region, or we're gonna go to the waterfall, big lake.
Yep.
And there were like kind of Arceus zones or something.
Too late.
It's just a city again.
But you know what's so funny about this though is that all of the defenders of the game, they're always the first to jump in and be like, oh, but there's still DLC. The DLC could be amazing. It could tick all the boxes that you feel like haven't been ticked so far. And I actually had a little bit of hope that it was going to be something like what you're suggesting. And as soon as that trailer dropped, and I was like, okay, they've just reskinned the boring city into an even uglier color, and it's just going to be, the gimmick is that now you can battle level 200 Pokemon, but I have no interest in even getting my current party to level 100. Like, it doesn't look good, and look, sure, it may end up being amazing. I don't expect it to be, but I have no interest in buying it.
$45, man.
Soon. That's like two Silk songs, isn't it?
That's two Silk songs.
More than two Silk songs.
Not to mention, by the time it comes out, it'll be on sale. You probably get 4 Silk songs for that.
Says the guy who refuses to play Silk Song.
I need to borrow it off one of you guys.
On your high horse.
I'm happy to play it now. 33 is finished. I'm done with that. I thought about playing that again, to be honest, before the year's done. But But I'm happy to borrow it off
Go
one of you.
play Wukong again.
I did. I played it through again this year. So good. Play back this
Your
week on.
Wukong Monkey's not in this game, is he?
No, he's not.
Infernape?
Nah,
He's not there.
he needs a mega.
That'd be cool. He does need him.
Uh,
All right. I think, could we be constructive? And is there things that could do better, or have we just bitched about the game enough that, fixed
just fix
everything?
all the things.
Yeah.
Look, as I said at the very start, sorry to cut you off. I'll go first. There was still fun to be had here. It was one of those games where it's like, do you know how you look at a parent that's got a really ugly baby, and I'm sure deep down they know the baby is ugly, but but I love it anyway because it's my baby, or you know what I mean? I think it's a bit like that, where I'm like, the baby is ugly, but it's still like
Your baby.
it's still fun to play with. Like,
Fun to
I don't
kick
know, like
around a little bit.
there is a redeeming qualities in this game, and I think there is something there to be salvaged. And I really do hope, I'm going to use this same analogy again. I really hope they don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in future games. I hope they can take a hard look at it and go, look, there are a couple of cool ideas we have here. Here are the things that worked. Here are the things that didn't. Here's what got a lot of complaints. Here's what people seem to like. And then try to actually build on that going forward, because there are things that I don't want to lose. In Legends 3, I would be happy for them to bring this combat system back if they refine it a little bit. But I don't want them to set it all in one ugly city. So it's all checks and balances, swings and roundabouts, right?
I think for me, it's not just one or two things that are wrong. Like sometimes I'll go see a movie and be like, I probably would have changed this or I would have changed that. But this was one of those experiences where I'm just like, scrap the whole thing. Start again, get rid of it. And I sort of we touched on it earlier.
Abort.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit earlier, Jake, with just how if you were to give Pokemon to another studio that knows how to do good storytelling, give it to Insomniac, give it to Santa Monica Studios, give it to Naughty Dog, and obviously like just the
What? No Xbox Studios, Nick?
I don't know. Who's the Bungie? I don't know. But give it to someone that can tell a good story.
There's only two now, actually.
Actually, yeah. But and who can reinvent Pokemon in a fun way. Like even they did it with Zelda a lot, going from traditional Zelda games to then creating Breath of the Wild and creating this like whole new experience, which was just mind-blowing for everyone at the time. And Tears of the Kingdom obviously expanded on that. But God of War is a great example of going from what the old hack and slash games were, with just it wasn't really, didn't have a whole lot of depth to it, to then the presentation and the reinvention for the new games. And just like, I don't know if it's possible for Pokemon to ever enter this realm of more, not necessarily mature, mature themes or anything like that, because obviously it's meant for all ages, but to just have more depth. Like even the anime has such great storytelling and it's such great heart to it, and like the amount of episodes that people have seen that have been brought to tears. And the only reason this game would bring me to tears is just how bad it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not fun. And so I'd love
tears of pain.
Like, and there have been video games that have had my eyes well up and nearly had me in tears. And like, just I'd love for Pokemon has the power to do that. They just choose not to, or maybe they just don't know how. So I don't know if it needs to go into the hands of another developer or something like that. But for me, there's so much that just falls flat for this game, and it's a solid 3 out of 10 for me. It's just like 3 out of 10.
Wow.
I think for the next Legends game, I'm happy with what they've done in the first 2 games, right? But this game introduced many characters, right? The mafia guy, like the business lady and his henchman, who was some sort of hot leather daddy as well, that was totally for me. Like the detective person. Imagine if each section of the game, right? Like, all right, you tagged up with the electric streamer chick, and you can only use electric Pokemon, and the aim of the game is to paralyze as many people as possible. Or one section is like, all right, you're restricted to poison Pokemon only, and you got to poison everything, and like just all there's that fighting guy as well. Like, and imagine if it just changed up the gameplay or restricted your Pokemon in a way to make the gameplay more engaging and more fun. Like, even if you thought of like boons in Hades, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You know, this type of run or this type of area, you can only do this type of attack or effect or something. So they kind of had all these characters you team up with, and it didn't really change any of the gameplay. And I felt like that would have been a really cool way to be invested with your, you know, the character that you're with at the time as well, and you know, expand their story a little bit more, use different types of Pokemon, have different types of gameplay. That would be cool. Like, you know, imagine that section where you had to, you know, you'd verse someone that was flying, and then you could only be flying Pokemon. And you're in some, I don't know, made up Paris flying area only. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sky Islands like Zelda or something.
You, like riding around on your flying Pokemon, having a battle in the air.
Really mix it up. I guess kind of like imagine if you had the rideable Pokemon of Arceus, but that was its whole section, and you could attack, you know, on your Mega Skarmory or something. I wish for more. I want more. They could do better.
They can do better.
Like it's good, it's fine, but they could do better. They have so much money, and it doesn't need to be a 30-hour game. I'm happy for it to be a 10, 15-hour game as well. Doesn't need all 1,000 Pokemon. I'm happy with 200-ish. I don't feel like there was a massive lack of variety. I don't know. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Anything else that we want to close it out? We're happy. We talked about everything. Anything on your list we've missed, Jake?
Not really. I guess it's just more of the same sort of stuff. I think, as a general idea, I do think their decision to focus on battles in this game actually held the game back, I think. Because it's not just because, you know, obviously the main gameplay loop is that you go into the night time. For each rank, you go into the night time, and then you do anywhere from 10 to 30 battles, depending on how many points you get. And then you go and do your level up battle, and you rank up to the next rank. But then between the ranks, there would be story beats that were all just battles. Oh, now Naveen has to battle me for some reason. Oh, now Tawny wants to battle me again. And then like it just kept getting more and more egregious as we would go into. At one point, the worst. I mean, she ended up being one of the most interesting characters, but one of the most egregious parts of that was towards the end. It might have been the rank C or rank B, where you do battle the lady that wears all the pink or the purple, and she's like
what was the point of her again? Was she
you know,
the battle organizer?
Yeah, well, she just appeared and was like, for no reason, come and battle in my tournament, and now I'm going to stalk you for not battling, and then you have to do the tournament, and then she comes back, and then it's like, oh, now you've got to battle, and then as the story would progress, it'd be like, oh, remember how you just had to beat the electric chick 2 ranks ago? Well, she wants to battle you again now for some reason. Like there was like just battle, and I was like, I was getting so worn down by the end of the game, and then. You know, and then to find out that I'd have to get 1,000 battles to get the shiny charm, like it nearly broke me mentally. I was like, I just can't.
Yeah,
that's it.
Is there a way
that's
to
it.
find out how many battles I've done?
I don't know.
Yeah, it tells you.
It tells you. Oh, interesting. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Nick?
Nah, I got nothing else. The game, I was very disappointed by it, and I'm ready for I'm excited to still hold out hope for whatever the next Pokemon game is. And, you know, I really enjoyed Scarlet and Violet. And now with like Switch 2 bringing Nintendo and just their resources up to a more modern level, I'm hoping that the next game isn't a Switch, like a clear upgraded Switch port. I'm hoping it's built for Switch 2 and it's something new. But also, I mean, we have all these hopes and dreams for Nintendo all the time, and they always just punch us right in the dick. So we'll wait and see.
You know, is Pokemon Wind and Waves going to be Switch 2 only?
I don't know.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Probably not.
I don't know, man. Game Freak loves making last gen tech games. How many were for 3DS? X and Y, Sun and Moon. Am I missing any?
Omega, Ruby, Alpha, Sapphire.
Omega, Ruby, and Sapphire. How many were on DS?
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Well, I guess we've had Pokemon Let's Go, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet, and 2 Legends games. That's pretty good.
Diamond and Pearl.
Hopefully.
The Switch had a good. Oh god, we don't talk about that.
The Diamond. Oh yeah. Well, I didn't play it.
No.
You didn't need to. It was awful.
I think that's it. I think you're ready to.
Yeah. Look, I guess to leave it on a slightly more positive note, I I think I appreciate that there is some ambition there on Game Freak's part. They clearly want to try new things, and you know, they're not afraid to throw some darts at the wall and see what sticks. Their issue is not sticking with things. Like, you know, you come up with Mega Evolution, everybody loves it, and then you take it away for like 10 years. You know, people, you know, I'd love that they're trying new stuff, and I hope they keep doing that. But I hope they also remember that, like, when stuff works, don't get rid of it, because people want to see that stuff again.
I think what makes me a bit sad is when Pokemon gets a Mega Evolution, they're not going to get like a fourth,
Like a regional variant.
maybe an alternative third version or something, or some Pokemon that only have like a base version, they're not going to get an evolution. Well, they might still, but just means they're not going to be usable for the next Pokemon game, right? Or they're not going to be there. Whereas, like, you know, in not Infernape, who's the dead monkey? Primeape? Who's the dead Primeape?
Annihilate?
I know the one you're talking about.
Annihilate and King Gambit, like they're going to be in other games, and they like got even cooler because they got a permanent new evolution. Where if something's a mega, then they're only, you know, they don't get better. They only get better if they're a part of this tournament, or you know, yeah.
You actually raised a really good point, and it's the fact that, you know, probably from if I was a betting man, from Wind and Waves onwards, I reckon Mega Evolution's going to fade once again into obscurity, and it'll be another 10 years before we see any of these fancy, flashy new Megas back on a game again. So,
Well, we have reached
All right,
an hour and 15 minutes. So I think you better wrap us up, Jeffrey.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for watching. We're Nick and Jeff and Jake, our favorite Pokemaniac. You can find us all on your favorite podcast platforms. You don't have to listen to us. I mean, you don't have to watch us. You can listen, or you can keep us subscribed to us on YouTube and give us a thumbs up.
We'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye.
Pokemon, gotta catch up.
Pokemon. It's the outro. Can they hear us now?
That first road as well, just like you through.